Hello everybody and welcome to another Netcrit League MMO reaction video. My name's Lorian Locke. Background on me, in case you didn't watch the other videos. I have no MMO experience. I'm just gonna go flat out. I've played the Division 2 a lot, which is kind of like an MMO. I've played Final Fantasy 14 for like a month. Or no, maybe like 2 months. It's really good. Yeah, I have over 10 years Dungeons and Dragons experience, so that's mostly where I'm coming from. I've seen some comments in the previous video just like, oh, your D&D experience, you know, you're judging that too much. Well, that's all I have. I don't play MMOs. I just, importantly, I'm also been playing Riot games for like, Jesus Christ, it's been 10 years? It hasn't been 10 years. It's like 2015, so like 7 years. I've been playing League of Legends, Legends of Runeterra, the Ruined King, all of their auxiliary games. Fucking in love with the League of Legends lore. The world, everything. In love with it. Amazing. Genuinely one of the best fantasy worlds I have ever seen. So I'm going from that perspective and the D&D perspective in terms of, I've also been gaming for like 14 years, but yeah, that's my fucking resume. So, legendary loot items according to lore. I'm not sure what I'm expecting here, TBH. Like, any of the Darken, Legends of Runeterra just had a Darken expansion, so any of those Darken, I feel like would be good to mention as a weapon. How would that work mechanically? You know, I don't think anyone really cares if they're wielding a Darken weapon and their character's not corrupted. I think just that would just be, like, really legendary loot that I'm sure people would like to swap in and out, you know? Like, I don't think anyone cares if they wield, you know, Kane's scythe and they're just like, wait, my immersion, but that's Kane's weapon. You know, I feel like MMOs do this sort of thing all the time. Are we playing cards right now? I should probably turn those off.
I want you to do a cute voice for 2 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn the cards off real quick. Pausing them. I'll refund you in a second. Anyway, so forgot I was going. Legendary items. We have, guys, I'm filming a video. Stop fucking with me. Jesus Christ. Everyone's gonna click off if I do an ooh voice. Sorry, chat's made me lose my train of thought. Iceborne weapons, really cool. If you touch them in lore, you die unless you're an Iceborne. It's really cool. Anything built by Ornn, like Brahm's shield, would be really awesome. If they make any item and it has like Brahm's name attached to it, instantly legendary. I feel like people would really love that. High Anxiety Media, thank you. I'm just trying to think. League of Legends lore weapons. I don't know. I guess it's where that's okay. So those are only our predictions. It's been enough. Let's actually start the video. Oh, is it ×2 speed? It is. Let's do ×1.25 speed. Because they're probably gonna pause and talk about it a while.
MMO. Loot, arguably one of the driving forces of MMOs, and it doesn't matter if it is an MMORPG or an MMO shooter. Loot is something everyone celebrates their joy over, but it might be for 2 separate reasons. Some people like having big numbers on their characters. Sure, it is a key progression for MMOs, but for a lot of others, me strongly included, it's all about the visuals. I simply want to show off the achievements of my character, so after I get some good loot, it better look good. In fact, that's exactly what my MMO journeys have been about. I care about the appearance of my character.
This is fair. I think this is very fair.
Wrath being a perfect example.
Oh, how's the volume, by the way?
Since the original Burning Crusade, I have always played a paladin. So naturally, with Classic, I got my next level on my home EU server. But Blizzard also brought up the Fresh servers, where everyone would start as level 1 and everyone would be on a leveled playing field as the next expansion comes out. This is something a lot of people didn't believe would be that popular. Until it was so popular, it was burning Blizzard spaghetti servers. See, people thought Blizzard was only releasing awful games these days, but not only did they release one amazing queue simulator, but they released 2. Well, I quickly realized there was no...
Shit! Oh my god, this is sneak attack critical, fuck! I caught me off guard!
See, people thought Blizzard
I was like, where is he going with this? What is he doing here? I don't even care if it has nothing to do with the video. That was a great setup for a joke.
Games these days, but not only did they release one amazing queue simulator, but they released 2. Well, I quickly realized there was no way I was gonna play on a Fresh server. Right? Well, it turns out prime time for EU is when US is asleep. So I bypassed the queues by making a character on the US servers, and my leveling was a breeze. And here's the reason why I'm even telling you about this. When I was deciding which class I wanted to play, I thought about which class would be played the least so that my loot would not be contested. Well, in Wrath, that would be the Shaman. But if I wanted to play a Shaman as the Alliance, I would have to play as the Draenei.
I'm losing the sauce here.
I can't play a character that looks awkward. But thankfully, in Riot's universe, the armor and weapons are badass.
That's
We
Legros,
already
looks
had a
really
look
cool.
at the world of Runeterra. We also talked about all the existing races in this universe. I showed you the greatest villains and
Has
bosses
there really
we
been
will
4 videos
inevitably
already?
get to
Jesus,
see.
wow.
And now it's time to show you the final piece.
Let's do it!
The epic loot revealed by the lore of this universe. And oh boy, be ready for some glorious items. This video will be split into 2 halves. The first half of the video will talk about all the armories of all the different regions.
Oh, armor and weapons.
I'll show you what their typical armor looks like. With the second half of the video being the juicy one. Because I'll show you some legendary weapons from this universe.
Oh yeah.
But I will also show you
I mean,
some real 3D...
Any weapon that a champion in League of Legends have, which I would probably say is over 100 at this point, could be a really dope legendary weapon, except for like Katarina's, right? But like all of their weapons are like iconic, all of them. Like, again, I don't think people care about the caninity of, oh, I'm wielding Yoden's sword. What's Yoden wielding? You know, like, any sword. Even, fucking Alawi's beat stick or Ari's orb, you know what I mean? Any of those. Easy legendary items. And they have 150 characters. Might as well pull from it.
Of the weapons, which I pulled from the Ruined King game. So we'll be able to have a look at some
I forgot that game, yeah. I did even mention that game, and I forgot about it.
But first, let's go region by region, and let's have a look at the typical armories. So, let's start with the good, totally not racist boys of Demacia. With Demacia having the classic white castles and knights in shiny armor. That's exactly what we should expect here. Besides the rugged appearance at low levels, which we should expect everywhere, the armor of the Dauntless Vanguard is just about the most iconic here. Being made of petrified steel, it is naturally pale and resilient to magic. At the lower ranks, it is a wall of silver steel. But at higher ranks, their armor has some golden outlines. Their sergeants also have different helmets that stand out, and depending on what your job in the military is, the armor has totally different variants. There is one for the horse riders, there is also a lighter version for the trekkers, there is also a version for the raptor riders, this one also has a cool elite variant, and you can see it in greater detail in the official concept.
Just going through the armors,
so
which I think are just really cool.
Armor,
Legends of Runeterra, so I know this.
Even their cloth armor is just a lighter version of plate. That shows you how much Demacians love armor. I mean,
talk about
they
the
even armor up their hawks.
Talk about the fucking bodysuits.
Scouts hiding in bushes. So they also have the classic ranger outfit. They also have the swift-footed duelists with light armor.
Okay, I'm just gonna pick on his wording right here. What is the classic ranger outfit? Is this the classic ranger outfit? Is he talking about like leather straps and a hood? Foliage? Is that what? Okay.
So they also have the classic ranger outfit. They also have the swift-footed duelists with light armor.
No, literally, all of Demacia is known by these bodysuits for better and worse, I think, at this point. Okay, I'm gonna look this up. Lux. LOL. Oh, I can look up, hold on. LOL champions, that'd be easier. Okay, so, Demacians, Control F, we have Lux. Yeah, so Lux, I don't know if Lux started this or who started this, but you can see she just has, like, a straight bodysuit under her, right? So, she just has a straight bodysuit, which, like, it looks a little weird in a fantasy setting, but they've, like, hoods and leather. Okay, gotcha. They've made their region identity based on this. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I think it's, I don't like how it looks, so I think it's worse, but at least it's consistent. You can't actually see it on Garen. Can you see it on Garen? Vayne also has it. Yeah, Vayne's has a bodysuit. Lux, Jarvan. I think it's more Legends of Runeterra. Yeah, you can't see it here. He's wearing something different in Legends of Runeterra. Yeah, so in Legends of Runeterra, they actually gave him a blue bodysuit to look like he belongs from the region, because he doesn't. He I don't know what he looks like. Who else is Demacian? I mean, not really, Kale. It's not the same thing. She does have, like, a kind of bodysuit. Lucian doesn't really wear one either. He's wearing tight clothing. To me, it's just weird. Because it's a fantasy world and everyone has, like, latex bodysuits in Demacia, the anti-magic region. Like, oh, Fiora, too. Fiora's wearing one under her shit. And it's, like... Leona? No, Leona's from Targon. Jarvan... 4... LOR. No porn? Okay, no porn. Yeah, so if we look here, Jarvan 4, like, he looks different in League of Legends, right? They actually put him in a bodysuit to make him look more like he belongs in the region. I don't know if the followers really have a lot of the bodysuits. It's just weird to me. Oh, there's Garen from LOR. No, I mean, he has, like, it looks like a similar looking bodysuit, but it's not the same thing. Oh, let's X out of Hulu.
Okay, turn 5.
Shit, okay.
And of course, then we have the Mage Seekers. As we mentioned in the last videos, these are the guys hunting down mages.
Crash
The
this
most
cart. What's up,
iconic
Hezzy?
part
Welcome
of
to stream.
their
How you
gear
doing?
Are the half masks. That's what indicates that you belong into their crappy cult. But all of them also wear long blue coats and a trinket called the Grey Mark. This piece of petrified stone absorbs magic, which comes in handy whenever you are trying to uncover a hidden mage. While some mage seekers have fancier masks than others, we really should mention the shittiest person in all of Demacia, the leader of the mage seekers, Lord
Whoa!
Eldred, who not only has the fanciest mask of them
Bodysuit.
all, but he
Bodysuit.
feels so insecure about himself that he carries 2 grey marks. But the mage seekers are not the only ones with unique outfits. Near the mountains where we can find
Bodysuit! This
The
is not a
local
bodysuit.
Demacian
This is
armor
literally,
is
she's a dragon. This is literally what her body looks like. So fucking hot, by the way. Good, awesome. Yeah, we're recording a video. We're reacting to the MMO
magic,
lore.
but also fire. That's why their variant
Demacian
of the armor
bodysuits.
is red. And it is simply called the
She's not wearing a
Dragon
bodysuit.
Dark
She's
armor.
wearing pants.
But all of these just lead us to the armor of the highest value.
I feel like
in
this is
all of
an
Demacia.
aesthetic
The armor of the
nitpick
Royal
from me.
Court, and currently
Oh, there he
we
is.
know about its 3 iterations. This armor is fully golden, unlike the typical silver Demacian variants. One type of this armor is worn by Barret Bevel, one of the greatest Demacians who ever lived. His story is awesome, but unfortunately it's not really important for this video. What is important
I
is
forgot
that
I was
Barret
saying.
was the greatest
It's an
Demacian.
aesthetic
He
nitpick
died
that I
during the
really don't
battle
like
at
the
the
blue
gates of
bodysuits
Morning
from
while
Demacia.
protecting his nation. As a result, during his burial ceremony,
I suppose at the very least, the fact that it's a region identity and so many people that are wearing it makes a little more sense for immersion, and that they changed Jarvan to look more like it, but I still don't like it.
his armor was reforged into a container for his ashes. So the golden armor was turned into this. I don't think we're gonna wear that in the MMO. The second variant of the golden royal armor is worn by Jarvan IV.
I've never
This
seen that picture
combat
before. That was
armor is
awesome.
passed between the leaders of Demacia. Here you can even see it being worn by his own father. And you can see that it was forged in the image of the dragons that once threatened the lands of Demacia. I highly doubt it would be lootable because Jarvan is not an evil man and he is actively wearing it. But I still wanted to mention it because it looks cool
Disagree.
and it could definitely...
I've said this 3 times already in this video, but I don't think any League of Legends player is going to have a problem cosmetically buying with real money or doing a raid over and over and over again to get armor and weapons that are currently possessed by League of Legends characters. I don't think anyone's going to care. Yeah, like if you're telling me, oh, I could get, you have 1 or 2 options. 1, you can pay $20 to wear what Jinx League of Legends wears and puts it on your Yordle or Vistayan character. Or 2, to not break your immersion, you can't do that. You know, what's everyone going to pick every single time? You know what I mean? You don't think they're going to be character gear, Keyork?
And then
Understandable.
there is the 3rd variation. The armor of his now dead father, King Jarvan III.
What's up, Tauros? Welcome to
This
stream.
is probably the heaviest armor in all of Demacia. I really love this image because here Jarvan looks like
They
a
will all
space
be
marine
NPCs in
from
the game?
Warhammer.
I don't
but
think
at
so.
least it shows you that Demacia is not only all about silver.
Also, it's an
There's one
MMO.
thing.
Like, I don't know.
Fun fact, the Crown Guard family is wearing a special variation of the armor which has comically large shoulder pads. Garen is part of this family. That's why he looks the way he
Somebody
does.
say hi. Awesome,
When it comes to
Tauros.
weapons,
See ya.
there is not much to add.
Just like Warcraft characters
Demacian
in
weapons
WoW.
are
Can you not get... Wait, genuine question. Can you not get the armor that other people are wearing in WoW? Because I know in Final Fantasy XIV, pretty much all of the NPCs you could get somewhat close to their armor. I'm 90% sure.
minimalistic and shiny. So let's move on to Noxus.
I'm
Noxus has the
40%
exact opposite of
sure.
Demacia.
I'm gonna be real.
Instead of bright and shiny, they are dark and bloody. If you like big plated armor that is not shiny, you're gonna like these guys quite a bit more. Here, the vast majority of the armor comes from the Trifarian
Noxus
region.
is my favorite
It is
aesthetically.
dark
They're
with a
all
lot of
so
hard
good. All of
edges
the
and
regions except
occasional
Demacia are
silver
so
lines.
good.
You can also notice that oftentimes this armor does not have sleeves, because Noxians are overly aggressive and they don't want to limit their offense. But not all of them. For example, Captain Farron has a type of armor that doesn't give a damn about anyone. And yes, without spoiling anything, during Arcane, if you look into the background, you may find even more Noxian armor. But then there is also this interesting variant that is fully plated with a winged helm.
Only character
This one
gear I
looks
think you throw is
different because
Frostborn,
it is
maybe.
actually an ancient Noxian who was brought back using blood magic. So perhaps we
I
will be
feel
able
like
to get
there's
something
no.
like this
I feels
in the
it's such a
tombs
missed
beneath Noxus.
opportunity
Now,
for
when it comes
free
to
loot
light
and
armor cloth, Noxian
marketing.
spies often use leather with occasional plate armor. This is also used
Not
on the
marketing,
battlefield
sales
by
and
those who are
shit.
confident they don't need to use heavy plating to protect themselves. But really, it is the casters who are going to get the most style out of Noxus. The Noxian cult of Hemomancers use the black jacket with the crimson cloaks that look
Hot
amazing.
topic
The
Noxus,
black
let's
robes
go!
may swap the jackets for more plating because, well, it's Noxus. With the Noxian officials sometimes ditching the crimson cloak entirely for a full black imperial look. So even as a caster, even if you are not going to be wearing plated armor, you are still going to appreciate Noxus. When it comes to their weapons,
Super
well,
mega iconoclastically
Noxus does have
in-game
massive
legendary
weapons
weapon.
of
There you
dark
go.
steel, which often match the Noxian architecture with the hard edges. But Noxians also have a special kind of a weapon, the runed weapons. Noxian rune weavers are able to weave runes into their blades to enhance them. Sometimes these runes make the blades lighter so that you can one-hand a blade that is bigger than yourselves. And other times the runes simply make the weapons indestructible. So just know that League does have a canonical reason for you to be wielding oversized weapons. Noxians also have suicidal bombs. I'm not sure if that's gonna lead into fun gameplay. So now let's move into the Freljord. Here we all know what to expect.
Dude.
Either you are wearing a lot.
This is tangential, but like, there is something really cool gameplay-wise, like when you're actually in the game, of like your reaction to like someone running at you with those like a bomber like that, right? Because in the Division 2, they have people like that. It's in the Outcast faction. They literally just have people sprinting at you with like grenades in their hand and they're glowing and shit. And there's just something, I don't know, really cool about being on the other side of that and just like the instant reaction of, oh, that's a threat. I need to shoot that. That's gonna blow me up. And then like that gameplay loop. Just saying. I don't know. It's not gonna be a shooter, but
or you wear nothing.
I think there's gonna be
This
also things
entire
of Dark
region is
Tide.
pretty much made of leather armor, but at least
as
it comes
well.
in different styles.
So that's gonna be
The other
exciting.
Rosens turn it into blue cloaks with white fox fur elements. The Winter's Claws stay closer to the brown elements, but at least the shamans of the Freljord give it a twist. They theme their armor after animals, be it a mammoth with massive tusks on his shoulders, a wolf with the amazing wolf shoulder pads, or even an elk wearing their bones. With that said, some individuals, usually those of a higher rank, wear actual metal armor. But because it's difficult to harvest metal in all the frozen landscape, and because metal tends to be freezing cold in this climate, it is rare to see people wearing it. However, up in deep north, Lysandra's army of the Druglorn are clad in metal plates. Just like Lysandra, they are wearing helmets shaped in the image of the Watchers, which they are holding back. But even they are not going to be the most iconic armor of the Freljord. I can almost guarantee you that Riot's MMO will have a set themed after the Hearthblood. The Hearthblood are the people who worship the demigod Ornn, with Ornn being a godly blacksmith. This demigod is the one who crafted the massive vault door which Braum is using as his shield.
Awesome
and all
lore,
you
by the
need
way.
to do is to peek into Ornn's forge to get an idea of what the armor is going to look like. A lot of ram thematics with aspects of a volcano. In fact, in the Ruined King game, you can find what a hypothetical shield made by Ornn would
I
look
didn't
like.
see this in the game. I
Ornn
wonder if
is
that's his
simply
legendary
far too
weapon.
iconic for this region, so expect at least one fire ram based set.
But here I also very quickly want to add one more thing. Even though these people are rarely talked about, the Freljord also has its own scavengers. And it's a shame that these are rarely mentioned because their armor looks insane.
That is look really cool. I've
And
never
when it
seen
comes
these
to the
before.
weapons, Freljordians
Get those
have
guys in
very
Legends of
barbaric
Runeterra. What the
tools.
fuck?
Loads of axes, swords, and wooden shields, with an occasional primitive weapon from one of the trolls. Nothing too out of the ordinary. However, the Freljord is also known for the true ice weapons. We talked about these
Hell
in the past.
yes.
These weapons are made out of magical ice that literally kills you if you touch it.
Yes.
That is, unless you are an iceborn, in which case it will still hurt you a lot. And these true ice weapons can have all sorts of shapes and sizes, from swords and axes to bows and flails. But that's it for the Freljord, so now let's have a look at Ionia. Ionia has a lot of clean design. Most people are wearing simple robes, and depending on what class you are playing, the robes can vary heavily. The Blade Dancers following Irelia wear slightly reinforced robes. They
Damn,
also
look at her
wear these
thighs, dude.
reinforced
Sorry.
hats, which can be used as shields when banding
These guys
together.
are so cool,
Yes,
by the way. It's kind of hard to see, but these guys are doing like a hoplite shield formation, but their hats are the shields, and their hats are bladed, and they're being surrounded by Noxians who are just like, what the fuck do we do here? And you know, they all have blades. I don't know what she's doing exactly, but she has like this is it like a scorpion tail? I don't know. It's just like a really cool. It's like a really cool like battalion, squad of Ionian blade dancers here.
This is not an insect. These are blade dancers. The field musicians also wear some really cool caster armor, but this is definitely not gonna be the coolest light armor here, because that one is gonna go to the Kashuri armory. Here, the one simply known as
Good
the Maker is
morning,
making
Jagris.
legendary
Welcome to
weapons
stream.
and
How you doing?
equipment,
Recording a
which
video reacting to
certainly
this one.
does have a unique style. And yes, the very popular League of Legends champion Jhin is also wearing a set made by the Maker. Then of course, we can't forget about the Blade Masters. The Blade Masters of Ionia
wonder if he's gonna
are
mention
known
Gwen.
for their very wonky shoulder
Gwen would be really
pads.
cool if you got a
You can see one
costume.
on
Just
Yasuo,
makes you a
You can see
costume.
2 of them on his brother Yone, and even Master Yi in his fully golden armor couldn't afford to not have at least slightly wonky shoulder pad. Speaking of which, all the Vuju Blade Masters wear helmets with the green lenses. These allow them to see what is happening in
Guys,
the
what?
spirit world, so I
I'm
wouldn't be
literally
surprised
reacting
if
to a
one of these
YouTube
clear
video. They want me to do
helmets was available
squats.
in the game.
Jesus
Again,
Christ.
it is quite iconic. But don't worry, we can find some heavy armor even here. While normally the Ionian ninjas are wearing light armor, Shen and Zed are 2 types of fully armored ninjas.
No, I'll do it
with
during the
Shen
recording.
wearing
Everyone's
the
gonna have to
classic Ingu
struggle.
blue colors, and Zed wearing the red colors of the Shadow Order. But even that is not it. We also can't forget about the
There's
Temple
I
Guard,
don't know, there's not a lot to
which
even
might-
react to at this part. He's just going through the armors. They're just like, yes, these are armors. Like, I don't know, you know, not a professional here. 32 seconds, right? Like he's literally just going through the armors and stuff. Like, yeah, the ninjas are here, the things are here. Like, the armors looks really fucking cool. I obviously, you know, I like most of the aesthetics. I don't really like Demacia. I think Noxus is one of my favorites, but yeah.
I'd be wearing the most badass armor in Ionia. And when it comes to the weapons of
doing
Ionia,
squats.
it is all blades and sharp objects that resemble living things. Next up, let's delve into Build Over.
Let's
and
go!
Zone.
I forgot this
is a
region
quick
exists.
one
This is
because
my
we
favorite.
can't get closer to just real life. Anything from the 20s to 60s is in fashion here, at least when it comes to the light armor. But even that has a cool twist here. Because Piltover and Zone are based on technology, sometimes you can
Needed
find
to
some
troll you.
really
Thank you,
great
Jaggers.
examples
Appreciate you.
of proper tech wear. With the Pharaoh's family being the best example. Here they are wearing a straight up Tesla suit. And here, one of the leaders of the Pharaoh's family has a very good armor set, where you can see all the hard labor on their shoulder pads. This is definitely one of the more unique armor sets of Piltover.
That's really cool,
And of course,
actually.
in Zone, all of this gear is gonna be slightly more grungy, or at times horrifying. But the fun will probably begin when we start looking into the augments. Because augments are not only for the fanatics, they can also be worn fashionably.
Also, this woman is like 90% mechanical. I really appreciate that this woman was just like, yes, make me 90% mechanical, but make sure I have fat titties and giant thighs. Because I would be the exact same way. That's literally me. I was just like, yeah, make me a fully robot body. Wait. Make me a hot fully robot body.
Because
Whew. Also, I have, there was this porn animator, who was making a white-haired Misfortune. Not quite ruined Misfortune, just like he was making his own take of like a cyberpunk Misfortune. And after he was like making porn, he was just like, damn, I just made the, what, mechanized mimic? I think that's what it's called. I just made a mechanized mimic model, didn't I? Just, white hair Misfortune.
augments are not only for the fanatics, they can also be worn fashionably. And I can't wait to see all the different augmented armor sets. When it comes to the heavy armor, don't look into the forges, I'll tell you that much.
Lamau?
But really all the heavy armor goes to the wardens, the heavily armored police force of the city. However, some of the barons of Zone may be teasing some heavy armor as well. When it comes to the weapons of Piltover and Zone, well, it's anything that can be
Interesting.
engineered. So probably primitive guns.
You know, it's probably a coincidence because of like what they're taking designs off of, right? But armor basically fell out of fashion in history because guns became more popular. And a rifle, you know, could punch through plate armor and was a lot cheaper to make. So armor sort of fell out of fashion because of that, right? So it's interesting, and I don't think this is done on purpose, but in Piltover and Zon and Bilgewater, the 2 regions where they have guns, heavy armor is not really a thing. I think that's really cool. I really think it's a coincidence though, because both of them, give me a second. Bilgewater is sort of based on like the golden age of piracy, right? Which guns were very much a thing there. And so since guns were already a thing in the golden age of piracy, they didn't have heavy armor. So I think it's because Bilgewater was based off of that they don't have heavy armor. Not because, oh, wait a minute, these are the 2 regions with guns, so they should not have heavy armor. Same thing with Piltover and Zon. It's based on steampunk and sort of Victorian, I want to say Victorian, aesthetics, which again, they already had guns, so heavy armor was already out of fashion. So it's just an interesting point there. It makes sense in the fantasy world. Oh, the 2 regions that have heavy armor, the 2 regions that have guns, they can't use heavy armor. They'll just get punched through.
Explosives and hidden knives. From here, we're going to Shurima. Shurima is going to be very simple too. Either you are from the desert, or you're from the capital, or you are from Ikathia. In the desert, you can find a lot of primitive technology, so don't expect much there. Although some of the raiders here can be appealing at times,
guns phase out armor until Kevlar and stuff, yeah. Not more popular, but they started to pack more punch and it could be relapse faster.
Would look like. We can also find more caster's armor on Xerath's acolytes, but even more in the capital city itself. In fact, I can show you quite a few good examples. Shurima really likes to wear cloth after all, though some rogues may prefer some of these leather sets. But when it comes to something heavier, Shurima's...
Is he wearing leather? Oh, this is leather, I guess. This is like bandages. This ain't leather. This is cloth. This is bandages. This is the only leather. This is a bad picture here.
Rogues may prefer some of these leather sets. But when it comes to something heavier, Shurima's golden army comes to the rescue.
Don't wear armor on a ship?
They are big fans of gleaming golden armor.
I think people wore armor on a ship.
Heavily armored as someone like Demacia. We could also mention that even though Ikathia was utterly destroyed by the Void, their kingdom used to have soldiers that look like this. So should we ever delve into some of the tombs in Shurima, maybe we can find something like this. And yes, this is also the type of armor that Jax is wearing. Now, when it comes to the weapons,
that, Jax!
All around.
What the okay, he did my boy Jax dirty. I know Legends of Runeterra is in canon, but he's using Legend... Okay, so this is what Jax looks like in League of Legends. He's just supposed to look like a fisherman, right? He just looks like a dude. Because that was supposed to be his lore. He was just a dude with a lamp. That was so good at fighting with the lamp, he didn't need another weapon, right? Hold on. Let me show you something. Jax, LOR... This is what he fucking looks like now. Show this image. Look at the glow up, dude. He looks like he was a level 1 fisherman and now he's a fucking level 20 adventurer with all the magical items in the fucking world, dude. Look at this. Look at this. This is what you should show of Jax. This is what he looks like now, dude. What was censored? Look at his fucking arms. Oh my god. I love Jax so much. What did they censor? Wait, what did they censor? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. We're going on a little tangent here. Oh, they didn't want him to look too heavenly? Oh, okay, dead arm. Oh, I didn't realize there was a dead fucking arm here. Okay, they took out the dead arm. It's weird. Okay, sorry.
Now, when it comes to their weapons, it is golden spears all around, with an occasional scimitar. However, some people are using the Void as a weapon against itself.
Hey, yo!
So that's where we get these.
Kaisa's making sure she's always caked up on a Thursday. Look at her.
Itself. So
only ones that would come to mind were Romans.
I wouldn't be surprised if
they were
really gave
decided
us one of these weapons,
naval battles, improv and battle. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like the armor like in a lander to land to do battle.
A full set of void corrupted weapons sounds like really great raid loot.
Yes,
Next,
it does.
Let's very quickly mention Targon.
Why quickly?
Most Targonians don't wear much, but when they decide to wear something, it is usually in the image of their religion.
I'm sorry. Pantheon looks especially naked. I've never really looked at this. He looks especially fucking naked in this art. He usually looks really naked. He looks very naked here.
Much. But when they decide to wear something, it is usually in the image of their religion. The Solari are clad in more of a golden armor, since it is themed after the sun. They are also
300 strat. No, he's literally a 300 reference. I guess people don't realize this because it's been 10 years. He is literally a 300 reference. When Pantheon first came out, that's reworked Pantheon that he looks that good. When he first came out, hold on. I don't think people understand. He was literally just 300. Okay, I hope no porn's gonna show up. He was literally just 300. That's who he was. He was a 300 reference, and they were just like, okay, we have to rework this champion. And then they made him into a Giga Chad that actually makes sense in the fucking lore.
giant shields, with the most iconic soldier of them all probably being Leona, but I prefer the Daylight Spear, Ravoon. And obviously, just like their armor, their weapons are also themed after the sun. In fact, you can see the weapons being forged here by the Sun Forger. The
They have an
Lunari,
actual
on the
armor
other
like
hand,
IRL
wear
Spartans,
more
yeah.
of a lighter armor. Here we can get good examples of caster's gear. And here you can see something more of a rogue set, with Diana herself wearing just about the heaviest armor the Lunari can offer. It's not much, but it's an honest work. When it comes to their weapons, it is curved blades, because you know they resemble the moon. And in some rare cases, the Lunari can also summon celestial weapons from the cosmic realms.
One Lunari
so when
can
it
do
comes
that.
to the end game, I wouldn't be surprised if the
single
Celestials
Lunari
give us
can do
one of
that.
these weapons. Yes, these are actual canon celestial weapons, and they are all guns. But besides these, if you'd like
Why
to
does
see
he
some
say
more
it like that?
iconic sets,
Is that
we
so
have the
crazy? Why does he say it like that? Is it so crazy that gods would give you guns? I've been playing too much Bayonetta. Is it so crazy the manifestation of a celestial being would be a gun or a flamethrower? I don't know.
Core, who resemble the classic Spartans. The Herald of the Dragons is wearing a very interesting mask. The Goat people have their own gear. But most importantly,
people.
we better get an armor set themed after the celestial aspects. These creatures are just so dang cool. Next up, we should also mention Bilgewater. For the most part, it is just pirates, guns, cutlasses, corsair clothing. But besides the
Gods,
normal
Greeks,
pirate
weapons,
wear, we can
Greeks
also
and Romans
mention the
weapons and stories,
religious
yeah.
guru worshipping
I think
god of
the
motion
surprise
and
part was that there were guns.
Their entire aesthetics are themed on Aztec stone. At least that's when it comes to the heavier armor. If you'd like to see some caster's armor, be ready for tentacles. Loads and loads of tentacles.
Are the only
But I'll tell you
mages
one
in...
thing,
Wait,
I really want to see an armor set.
is there a Bilgewater mage? Oh, Twisted Fate, right. He's a mage. Yeah, he's like the only mage from Bilgewater, I think. Alawi, I don't know if Alawi counts as a mage. I don't know how direct her power, like if she's like something more of like a D&D cleric, of like the god gives her all of her power. I don't know how much is her power, how much is there. I don't know if she counts as a mage.
Set themed after Nautilus. Can you tell I like plate armor? Anyway, let's finish this first half of the video with the last place.
No, he's a buff
Shadow
priest,
Isles.
yeah.
Obviously, before the Shadow Isles were the Shadow Isles, they were the Blessed Isles. That's where most of the design will come from. Of course, we know that the Sentinels originated on the Blessed Isles, so all of these light pale sets come from here. Also, before we get into the darker stuff, I can show you all of these guys who show us some uncorrupted light sets. But then things get dark. This place has a lot of interesting light armor, with my favorite being the set of the Rekindler. There is something so simple and yet so cool about this one.
Yeah, that's a good
I
one.
also really want to see a set themed after one of the spirits of death. This would be a great one for casters. But then of course, there were a lot of people who came here to vanquish the dead. And eventually they would be claimed by the undead as well, and that's where we can get these cool sets from. But also, the Shadow Isles are riddled by the soldiers of Kamavor who once raided this place. Some of them were armor themed after the Dragons of Kamavor, but others come from the Iron Order wearing dark skeletal sets. But that's really it when it comes to the kinds
I forgot
of
the Iron
armors
Order
that
was
come from this
Kamavorian,
universe.
yeah.
Of course, I could keep going, but there is only so much time we have for a video. So now, let's get into the far
Weapons,
more
let's
interesting
go!
part. And let's talk about some very specific items which we will see in Riot's MMO. Whether we'll be able to loot them or not is a whole separate conundrum. For example, in the past, Blizzard knew that Frostmourne was so legendary they couldn't just give it to players and let them run around with it. Not when the lore dictated that there could only ever be one Lich King. So
That feels dumb to me. I don't know. That feels dumb to me. I mean, maybe this is just like me as a person, because even when I DM Dungeons and Dragons, I'm like, throw the book away, I don't care, do whatever you want, right? But like, is someone really gonna care if someone like, oh, I'm gonna look over there, oh, that person over there is wielding the dagger that would that only the Lich King could wield. Oh my god, my immersion is broken. Why is that person wielding the dagger that only the Lich King can wield? Is that really that important? That your lore dictates what people can wield, that you don't offer that as a loot item or a cosmetic? I don't know. I don't think it is. That just feels dumb to me. I know I said loot, but I heard loot. He is at 1.25 speed. I find it dumb if anyone runs around with a legendary thing around. Anything, even if it's a canon legendary weapon. So like a +3 sword that you have to get at an endgame rage. If someone's wielding that, you think that's stupid? I don't know. I think that's the lore getting in the way of the gameplay. And It just feels, I don't know.
So when the players finally defeated the Lich King, Blizzard didn't give them Frostmourne, but they gave them a weaker version of it called Shadowmourne. But then 10 years later, everyone was able to run around with the shards of the Frostmourne, so I don't know what the logic was. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who cares? Kiork cares, apparently. If it's unique legendary, I'm fine with it. I mean, legendary in lore stuff. I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, it's a game. At least in cases like goddamn Frostmourne. Okay, so Kiork has you're saying you have a specific connection with this item, and because you have a connection to the item and it's so important to you, you wouldn't want to see it around. It's basically what the same thing. Like, Orlorn's hammer is specifically Poppy's hammer. People love that character. People love Poppy. So I'm saying, how bad are you? What am I saying? Is it so worth it for your immersion and I don't know, the lore being that important for the gameplay that you don't see a single one of Poppy's hammers on any other player and only Poppy wields it? And is that worth that item being a super cool drop for a raid that you do and a weapon you can equip and play with and equip to your characters and, you know, play the game with, playing with Poppy's hammer? You know what I mean? My personal question, I don't think it is. I think just let people have it. You know, if it's a super legendary item, hide it behind a super legendary raid. You know what I mean? But don't like, oh, in the lore, you can't equip this weapon, so no one can equip this weapon.
The point is, I'm going to show you items that canonically exist in this universe.
Like the Darkin are a perfect example. All of the Darkins are very unique, very specific things, and if you touch them, you get corrupted by the Darkin, right? So in lore, you would never be able to equip a Darkin because you would just lose that character. Like the game would end. You'd lose that character, you have to roll a new one, right? But does that mean in the MMO, you literally won't have a single Darkin weapon for anybody to unlock and play? That seems like a huge wasted potential there, because people want to wield a Darkin weapon.
Are no buts or ifs, these legendary items exist in the game. And to make things even more interesting, first I'll cover all the legendary items which we are unlikely to get, though Riot will still give them to us for the sake of it being cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We'll get into some proper loot. So first, let's mention Drakebane. This legendary weapon of the Demacian Kings was designed to slay drakes. It is a hybrid between a spear and a sword that can extend itself. The art of fighting with it is only really known to the Lightshield dynasty, and when wielded in combat, the weapon is just as dangerous to its wielder as it is to the enemy.
Well, yeah, it's a whip sword.
Pulls it out when things really get serious. I doubt we will ever be able to get this legendary spear, but we are most likely going to see it in action in the...
I just like things like, here's a super duper legendary weapon, then 5 levels of expansion later, oh look, a green sword with higher stat. Oh yeah! I can totally get that. That happened in the Ruin King game a bunch of times. You'd get like a level 20 gear that's like an iconic weapon, and then like a level 30 gear because it's an RPG is just better, even though it's just like a common whatever, right? I mean, I don't know how to design an RPG if I'm gonna be real, right? But like, I think they can make it make sense. It's hard because if you have your first expansion of an RPG up to level 60 and you want to have level 60 legendary loot in that first expansion, and you make more expansion if the level cap goes up to like 90 and you want more loot, right? Then at the same time, you're going to have rare level 90 equipment that's going to be better than the legendary equipment that the game started just because it's been 3 years and expansion has happened. I don't really know the solution. I guess there could be a solution of like the weapons level with you, and certain legendary weapons you could like spend equipment to upgrade them. I know like the Division has something like that. There's some, I've been in like some D&D campaigns that do something like that, like the weapon grows with you for legendary, which is like to install auto level gear mods. Yeah, okay, so I think that's one solution as a non-game designer. Like, if you designed a level 60 gear, and that was, like, 3 years ago, you could make it so that, Drakesbane, let's go, like, is it Drakesbane? Yeah, Drakesbane, let's go with this, right? Like, if the game starts with Demacia, and Drakesbane is a legendary level 60 item you can get, and it's, like, the best weapon in the game, and then 4 expansions later, we win Shurima, and we get Renekton's blade thing, and that's a level 90 weapon, and blows the shit out of Drakesbane, whether or not that's canon or not, maybe you can have a level 90 enchantment for the Drakesbane that brings it up to the level of, like, Renekton's power, just to, you know, keep it up with power creep, because it's a legendary weapon, and people want to use it and have that power fantasy, right? I don't know. That's an idea. I'm not a game designer. Just first idea on top of my head, because I do agree that kind of it does break immersion, and it feels, I think more importantly, it feels shitty when you have a legendary weapon and then a common weapon is just better because of numbers, because of RPG, because oh, you're a higher level now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The MMO. Also in the category of legendary, likely unobtainable weapons, we have the legendary glove.
Just make the legendary weapon level with you. That's a lot harder. That's a lot harder to do than just a one-time upgrade. I feel like it's way more feasible to just be like, oh, it's a level 60 weapon, the expansion is up to level 70. Okay, we upgrade level 60 weapon to level 70. Then have a, oh, it's a level 61 version, a level 62 version, a level 63 version, a level 64 version. I feel like auto leveling, like making the legendary weapons level with you is like, one thing, it's kind of antithetical to the looter shooter, right? Like, you want to constantly find better weapons to equip and loot with you. Like, if you had a weapon in MMO, like your starting weapon that literally leveled up with you, there wouldn't be a lot of incentive to find new gear. You know what I mean? As opposed to, oh, I can't use my Drake's Bane for level 60 to 70. Let me use these other weapons that I find along the way. Okay, now that I'm level 70, I can upgrade the Drake's Bane to level 60, go switch back to that and do raids with that. You know what I mean? It feels a little antithetical to the point to have it literally level with you, as opposed to just a straight upgrade at one level. That's the point of legendary weapon, though. Yeah, but it's not the point of an MMO, as far to my understanding. Like, if you're playing a D&D game and you literally had Excalibur, or if you're playing a video game, let me think of, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I was just playing Bayonetta. Okay, let's go with Bayonetta, right? Bayonetta's pistols, right? You can literally go through the entire game with just Bayonetta's pistols. They don't ever degrade. You don't level up. You know, they never get outclassed by other weapons, really. It's like a preference thing, right? So that's the point of that adventure game. Or if you're playing a Chosen One in Excalibur in D&D and you start with a longsword that turns out to be Excalibur and it gets to the +1, +2, +3 as you level up, sure, that sounds amazing. That's an awesome experience. I feel like it's not the power fantasy of an MMO or a looter shooter or that type of genre. It's just not. Sure, they could do it. They could throw the genre on its head, but I feel like what people are looking for in an MMO is not that. My personal opinion. I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like people want to use different weapons, and a gamer will optimize the fun out of a game. So if I'm using a legendary weapon from level 60 to 70, and I'm picking up all these cool expansion weapons from the new region that's out, right? Just like, oh shit, I got this like Piltover gun, or this Noxus thing. If the legendary weapon is leveling with me, and it's never outclassed, and I never have a reason to take it off, I'm not using those other weapons. I'm not experiencing the content in the expansion. I'm just using what's the best weapon. Because I'm optimizing the game out of the fun out of the game, which is what I do. I'm a gamer. I can see something like a production class getting ability to level their weapons through the upgrade class. That would be obnoxious. To me personally, sorry, got distracted. I can totally see that being a thing in an MMO because people like grinding and shit. If you were telling me, oh, I got this level 60 super legendary drop. Sorry, painting a picture again. Prune said, I could see something like a production class getting the ability to level weapons through upgrade paths. If I was a level 60 character, right? I got the legendary weapon. The expansion came out. I'm all the way to level 70, right? And I could. The only option I had to upgrade that level 60 weapon to a level 70 was like switch my class to a crafting class and get all the way up to level 60 or 70 to have the option to upgrade that level 60 thing to a level 70 thing. I'm not doing it. Personally, I'm not doing it. Now, is that, like, Final Fantasy XIV has a lot of crafting classes that I do not do. I haven't even started getting into that shit, right? Because it just seems like busy work to me, right? But people do. People, like, max out that shit, and they make their own shit. They want to be an artisan, they want to be a craftsman, they have that power fantasy. So for certain people, I feel like that is entirely something that they're looking for, you know, to be a crafting class to upgrade people's weapons. Maybe they like take people can pay them to upgrade their weapons for them. Like, I totally see that could be a thing. I personally would find that shit annoying as shit. But if I as a player could just pay someone who spent the time in the game to get to that level to upgrade my weapon and have a transaction, that actually sounds kind of cool. You know what I mean? Because then that's like player to player interaction. The player who put the 70 levels into that crafting class has the incentive to do so and gets a reward for my money for their time. So I don't hate that idea. I just personally So the Division 2, for example, level 30 legendary weapons is completed outclassed by level 2 green weapons, but there's also a version of legendary weapon at layer 2 all the way to max level. Oh, no. 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 No, I disagree. As someone who really fucking loves the AA-12 and wanted to use an AA-12 through my entire division run and could not, I disagree. If I was stuck at every level trying to grind out an AA-12 for every level, that would just have not been a good experience. No, I don't think it's a good idea at all, Skybird. Because you're saying that it's again the same thing I said before. They would have to make a Drakesbane for level 60, level 61, level 62, level 63, and they could probably make an algorithm like the division I assume does for the stats every level. But okay, maybe it's not the worst thing in the world, right? Because if it's incentivized for you to play like the Division 2, where instead of, oh, you need this specific gun, get this specific gun at every level, it's use what guns is dropped to you, use whatever guns are there, switch your weapons often. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not a bad idea then. That's what Borderlands did. Yeah, as I'm thinking about this idea, it sounds like a good idea if you don't grind for the weapon every level, which is exactly what you're saying. Don't grind for it every level, but have a version of the weapon at every level. I think as an MMO, they're probably gonna have something similar to that. I don't think they should do that for legendary weapons. I think it just might be too much effort for a legendary weapon. You know what I mean? Yeah, never mind, Skybird. Games literally do that. Borderlands does that. The Division does that. It's not that bad. Just don't grind for a specific gun every level, because you're not gonna have a good time. Just play with what is available to you. You know, you have to be adaptive, play with what's dropped for you. Yeah, okay. I don't think they need to do that for legendary weapons, because, like, I don't think it's like that. Even though the Division is very much like an MMO, the weapons aren't... Oh, no, you said legendary weapons. I don't know. No, yeah, because you could get a legendary weapon from, like, a normal common drop, right? Like, I think with an MMO... Like, the Drakesbane spear, for example, will be specifically behind, like, a Demacian dragon raid. You know, that will be the raid where you get the weapon. So you have to grind that, like, 3 times a week, over and over and over again, and then eventually there's a small chance you get the weapon. Now you have a legendary weapon, right? I feel like that's how it should work. So in the same essence, like, I don't think they should make a level 61 through 70 version, like, 10 different versions of the weapon, because when is it going to drop? Like, I don't think it should drop normal enemies. It's a legendary weapon. Like, people want it to be hidden behind the raid. So they could make a level 70 version of the raid, which might be more fun to get a level 70 updated version of the weapon, or you have to go through some hoops to get the level 60 weapon to a level 70. All right, back to the video. I hope that made some sort of sense, the 20-minute fucking tangent I just took.
Long story short, a very long time ago there used to be an ascended warrior who was trying to figure out how to defeat the void monsters. His name was Horok. Over time, he figured out that he can use the void against itself, and so he infused his glove with voidy energy. This created a weapon known as the Nether Blade of Horok, a magical blade that was mounted to his wrist, which could cut through just about anything.
I only learned recently
Years later, Horok died, and many centuries
that Kassadin and Ezreal have 2 different gauntlets of that guy, Horok. That's really cool lore.
This is what the Nether Blade looks like. However, many years before Kassadin picked up the Netherblade of Horok, there was another Ascended called Nezuk who raided the tomb as well, and he stole the other glove. Eventually Nezuk died too, and Nezuk's tomb was raided by Ezreal. So Ezreal and Kassadin are each wielding a glove, which make a complete set, and together they are wielding power which even they probably don't comprehend. But because...
That's incredible lore. That is incredible lore. That Kassadin's Blade Gauntlet and Ezreal's Shooty Gauntlet are 2 of the same set from the same epic super badass from the past. That's so cool. So cool.
Both of these champions are good guys, I doubt we are going to be able to steal their gloves. And this is where we can also mention the Hammer of Orlon. This one is very crucial for the story arc of Poppy. Poppy is on a quest to find the rightful owner of the Hammer of Orlon. Someone who could fully unlock the hammer's potential, without knowing the fact that she herself is the rightful owner of the hammer, and that what she can do with the hammer is not normal at all. So the moment you take the hammer away from her, you destroy a beloved character. That's why I don't believe we will be able to get the Hammer of Orlon. Lastly, we could also mention the weapons aspects, like...
I'm not gonna pause the video again, I've already said it.
It's simple. I don't believe Riot is going to allow us to fight a decently friendly fan-favorite champion such as Leona. So we are likely not getting that blade. I could keep going, nearly half of the champions in League of Legends are holding interesting weapons, but half of them are the good guys, so I doubt we would just randomly be able to take their things. So, let's instead have a look at the bad guys and their loot. Now we are going to have a look at the items which will likely appear in the MMO,
fucking
and for which it is only up to Riot whether they decide to let us obtain
they changed
these
him.
items. Here, above all, we have the legendary sword and shield of Commander Ledros. Ledros played a big role in the story of the Ruined King, but not big enough to
I'm
prevent
still
us
Jax's
from
lamp,
looting his
yeah.
weapons. So I truly would not be surprised if we were able to get them in the MMO. Especially since Ledros was the Ruined King's most powerful frontline soldier. The sword stands out because it was broken in half, but it was reforged by unholy magic, with the shield being reforged by crystallized death. Fun fact, you can find Ledros with his fully 3D modeled weapons in the Ruined King game. So these will be
He's
quite
kind of a
beautiful to behold in
reskin
the
though.
MMO. Next, there
He's
has
kind
to
of a
be some kind of a
reskin.
legendary weapon crafted by Ornn, with one good example already existing in the lore. Remember how in WoW people went on a legendary quest to forge Thunder Fury? Or at least it was epic back in the day? I really want to see us do the same, but with Ornn forging the weapon. In fact, he kinda already did it once. In the lore, Ornn forged himself some tools. A spade, a hammer, and a fork. Later, after a battle with his brother Volibear, he threw all the tools, besides the hammer, away. According to a legend, the fork landed in the oceans somewhere in the east, where a merking picked it up and he used this mighty trident to rule the oceans. That's how legendary Ornn's weapons are. He literally made himself a fork, which was so powerful mortals could use it to rule the world. And who knows, maybe we will be able to find this very fork in the game. So please, Riot, we need one of Ornn's weapons. And here is where we can also mention the Vuju blades.
Yeah, the lore
I don't
is
think
really
there's going to
good.
be a legendary
Genuinely.
quest behind these or
It's the best
anything
thing
like
about
that.
these worlds.
I believe
It's so
by
good.
one way or another we will be able to get a Vuju blade and it will just have some flavor text. But I still wanted to give you a context behind these weapons. You see, the greatest bladesmiths around the world have a way to enhance their work. They would forge a blade, write a poem, and they would bring it to Doran in Ionia. Master Doran would then take these blades and the poems and he would plant them in a hidden place known
Is that
as
Doran?
Mistfall. After planting them
I didn't know
down,
that
he
was
would
Doran.
wait for an entire year. During this time, the local spirits would bless the blades and greatly increase their power. This is how the great Vuju blades are forged. And I believe one of these blades with this unique history will be found in the game. And lastly, before we get into the big ones, there is an idea I had which I really hope Riot is gonna steal. You see, one of the big bad guys we are gonna fight is going to be Sion, a legendary warrior of Noxus who was brought back to fight again using blood magic. The cool thing about him is his metal jaw. The jaw is actually the crown of King Jarvan II, whom Sion had killed. So when we get to fight Sion, I would love it if he dropped the crown of King Jarvan II and we could wear it as an actual helm. That would be such a cool touch to Sion's loot. Now, before we get to the top 3 pieces of loot I
Wait a
want to show
minute.
you...
Wait a minute.
Cool touch
Oh
to
no.
Sion's.
Oh no. That's not right. Oh god, they butchered him. The crown is supposed to be his lower jaw. The crown is literally... Like, look, it's literally his jaw. It's not over his jaw. The crown is supposed to be his jaw.
Before we get into the big ones, there is an idea I had, which I
This is a-
really hope Riot is gonna steal. You see, one
Like, you know what? Like, he does have some bottom teeth here, but it's literally his jaw. It's supposed to be his jaw. I guess he has teeth. That looks way better than fucking
Jarvan love it if he
this.
dropped the crown
I don't like this. He looks less menacing. I wonder if they really couldn't do it in Wild Rift without, like, I don't know. I wonder, maybe it just looked weird in 3D. But he has a whole ass jaw. It's just, like, nailed. It just looks stupid. Ugh, Wild Rift. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss.
of King Jarvan II, and we could wear it as an actual helm. That would be such a cool touch to Sion's loot. Now, before we get to the
I
top
agree, that would
3
be really
pieces of
fucking
loot I
cool.
wanna show you, there is something else I want to show you.
That's really
Something
fucking
which
cool.
You won't be able to find
Get his jaw as
anywhere on
a
the
headpiece.
internet. And I know it because I was looking for it. And I couldn't find it anywhere. So, I did it myself. I went to the Ruined King, which is a game now available on Steam, which depicts a story that actually happened in the universe of Riot's MMO. And I went through the game files and I pulled out all the weapon models. Now, in
Every
this game,
single
you have
one?
6 party members, each of which is using a totally different weapon. It's kind of like how weapons work in something like Diablo. And because it is an RPG game, the weapons have different models. And here's the kinds of weapons I am going to show you. Yasuo is using swords, Braum is using shields, Ares
just going
is
through?
using orbs, Misfortune is using
Orbs.
pistols, Pike
Yeah, she
is
has
using daggers,
massive orbs
and
in that
Laui
game.
is using idols, which is basically oversized trinkets. So, let's
Massive
start with
orbs.
the swords, shall we?
So big.
Feel free to pause at any time to check
Wow.
this out.
You
You
really...
can see how a lot of the swords are themed
That's cool.
after certain regions, but some of them are named swords, which we will probably see in the universe. At the bottom we can see Hextech Gunblade and Stormrazor, and in the middle you can find Mana Moon, Muramana, and Doran's Blade. Next up we have the shields. Of course, in Ruined King the shields are carried by Braum, who is a very big guy carrying a very big shield.
cool
So
shield
of
right
course
here.
all of these are a bit oversized to match him. I also
I'm
found out
gonna
that
guess
some of
this is
them
a special
did have
weapon.
recolors, which to be fair is standard for any RPG game these days, so I included them here too. Anyway, here we can point out the shield of the Poro King, Doran's shield, Randuin's Omen, and as I mentioned before, even here we got a shield themed after the demi.
It is Orin's Will. That is a super weapon. Crafted in the fire of Orin's Forge, this shield has been blessed by the Freljordian demigod himself. Impossibly strong and bearing Orin's visage, this shield has been made even stronger over time. Once used to protect the vault of the demigod, the shield offers legendary protection, repelling the most fearsome attack. That's awesome.
Next we have
Man,
the
those orbs
magical
look heavy.
orbs.
May I carry
The
them?
game calls this kind of a weapon a focus. These are obviously forecasters.
Arcane
And
focus.
in Ruined King, you can see that a few of them have comical theming. For example, you can see a ghastly Poro, a Poro King, even a D&D dice. Then we have the guns. I love how even the guns are themed after regions. For example, I would have never expected it, but this is what a gun from Demacia would look like. But you can also see that the game has 3D models for a void-corrupted pistol too. Next we have the daggers. From these, I believe only one is a named item which many of you may recognize from League.
Dirk.
And that is the Duskblade of
Oh,
Darkthar.
oops.
The rest may be just random daggers from all around Runeterra.
I thought
but
Dirk
they
was in
do
this.
look amazing regardless. Lastly, we have the idols. You can
I'm pretty sure Braum's shield is just an ancestry for his massive pecs.
think of these as items that show us what offhands could look like in this universe. But if Riot allows us to play as a priest of Buru, then we may straight up use these things as giant hammers to beat evil.
Smack
of course, one of
people
these
with.
idols is themed after Poros, but I can mention that this one is known as Corin Revek's paperweight, with Corin Revek being Oriana's father, whom people may know from League of Legends.
I didn't know
But
that.
that's really it for the lootable items from the RPG game Ruined King.
Given the fact that Riot recently revealed a new
Oh, this
champion
is new.
with unique weapons, I also wanted to very quickly mention 2 unique weapon types of this universe. The newest champion in League is using Natofos, which are giant hammers which you can wield as a hybrid between a shield and a fist weapon. But also the
Does Necrit not know what a Tonfa is? Hold on. Does Necrit not know what a Tonfa is? The way that he implied that, like, because Kiana's weapon, we have nothing like that in the real world, right? The way he implied that is that his weapons were, like, super unique, but they're just giant Tonfas, right? Am I dumb? They're defensive weapons. You can use them as shields. You could block with them. They're Cassandra, yeah, right here. League of Legends champion Cassandra uses 2 giant stone Tonfas. Okay, I don't mean to make fun of the man. It's just really funny. It's just really funny he doesn't know what Tonfas are. That's all. It's okay. Because
giant hammers
look at the way he's going to describe Kiana's weapons. He's going to be like, this is a totally unique weapon that's no one's ever seen before, which I think for Kiana, it's like a bladed hula hoop. I don't think that's like a weapon. But these are just Tonfas.
this universe. The new weapons.
Hold on.
I also wanted to very quickly mention 2 unique weapon types of this universe.
2 unique weapon types of this universe. I think the implication is that we don't have them in this universe. I'm just making fun of a man for not knowing a word. This is bullying. I'm bullying! I'm bullying! Someone cancel me, I'm bullying!
The newest champion in League is using Natofos, which are giant hammers which you can wield as a hybrid between a shield and a fist weapon. But also, the elemental mages of Ishtal might also wield a weapon known as the Omladl, which is essentially a really sharp hula hoop that channels magic. Lastly, I forgot to mention one cool...
You see the way he describes it, like, it's I think he just doesn't know what a Tonfa is. Maybe I'm weird for knowing what a Tonfa is. Okay. Bladed hoop. Now let's see if I'm weird for not knowing. Oh. Oh no, that's Archives of Nekis, that's like Pathfinder. Oh, it looks like Kiana's weapons. Oh, chakram. Yeah, it's like a giant chakram. What is this? I'm trying to figure out if Kiana's weapons have any real-life counterpart. I wonder if it was based on... I wonder if Kiana was entirely based on this one video. Oh, the bladed... Oh, God. Okay, but I don't think this is like a real weapon. I don't think this is a weapon like people used. There's the chakram, right? So it's just like a giant chakram. Bladed hoop. I'm seeing things in like video games and tabletops. Yeah, okay. So Kiana's weapon I don't think exists as it is, but it's okay.
In the Ruined King files,
it's alright,
I was
I'm
also
nitpicking.
able to data mine the armor and the axe of Rasa the Sunderer. But remember that the giant axe is a named item called Night Harvester.
So now, let's have
Upscaled
a
and
look at the
used
top
wrong,
3
yeah.
items from this universe. In my opinion, among the top 3, we absolutely have to mention the Darkin weapons.
He didn't cut his fingers off?
Which
No, he
are
said
the
fine.
foundation
Look fine.
of iconic weapons in this universe. Remember how after the Ascended slowly turned mad and they slowly turned into the Darkin? They got out of control after they started using blood magic to enhance their own bodies? Well, after the Darkin started fighting each other for dominance and they slowly started destroying the entire planet, the Celestial Aspects realized that they should probably do something about it.
Lamau.
And so, the Aspect of Twilight infused
Basketball
a weapon
sized?
with its
Gotcha.
power and used it to consume the souls of the Darkin. This weapon became known as the Chalikar. Now, the Chalikar is a giant crossblade that was originally wielded by an Ascended warrior, and which is now being held by an important character, so we will never see the Chalikar in our hands. However,
Disagree!
the Aspect of Twilight gave the Chalikar to humans, so that humans could craft new weapons in its image. And these new weapons would be able to capture the remaining Darkin who are running around the world. So, that's what humans did. They forged celestial weapons that absorbed the Darkin. The issue with this is that, after being absorbed, the Darkin live inside the weapons. And should any mortal try to hold those weapons, the Darkin could dominate their mind, take over their bodies, and essentially free themselves. Now, in my mind, there are only 2 ways how Riot can allow the players to hold a Darkin weapon. Either we find a Darkin that is so weak that even after we hold them, they can just whisper to us, but it can't really start taking over our body. Maybe just give it a bit of cosmetic corruption on our body. Or we would simply go on a legendary quest to cleanse the weapon of the Darkin's influence. I know, all of this sounds like a nerdy talk. So let me show you some examples of the already existing Darkin weapons.
I have to hear that again. I don't know about that.
Now, in my mind, there are only 2 ways how Riot can allow the players to hold a Darkin weapon. Either we find a Darkin that is so weak that even after we hold them, they can just whisper to us, but it can't really start taking over our body. Maybe just give it a bit of cosmetic corruption on our body. Or we would simply go on a legendary quest to cleanse the weapon of the Darkin's influence. I know, all of this sounds like a nerdy talk. So
I already harped on this before. I think it's unnecessary. These are one of the most... A Darkin weapon, I feel like, is one of the most iconic weapons in League of Legends and what all of the edgy people that play the game are going to want to wield. I think you should just let people have them. And that's all. Maybe you need, like, a high enough mental defense stat or something to wield it. No, it just, that feels like, I don't know. Feels like too many hoops to jump through. It could be a cosmetic. I don't know. I get what you're saying. It's like a cursed weapon, you know? So, like, if this is a D&D game, sure. But it's not. It's an MMO. It's gonna be hundreds of thousands of players that want to, like, live out their fantasies in this MMO. I think it's fine to just let them have it, you know? Class unique? That's not the worst idea, Skybird. A whole class? I don't love the idea. It's not about... It's because, like, Final Fantasy had their, like, Edge Walkers, which had, like, the Dark Knight class. So I can definitely see you could have, like, a Darkin... Like, a Darkin... Darkin Slayer, Darkin Master class, kind of like Kayn. Like, maybe the expansion even involves Kayn. Like, you learn tutelage out of Kayn, and Kayn's like, here's how you master a Darkin weapon. And then you pick up Darkin weapons and you can wield it. I genuinely genuinely think that you don't need a class and anyone should just be able to pick it up because it's a cool, badass weapon that people are going to want to use, right? But I don't hate the idea of that being class specific. If there's a class specific... But here's the thing. The Darkins come in so many different weapons. There's an orb, like an arcane focus Darkin. There's a shield Darkin. There's a scythe Darkin. There's a sword Darkin. Is one class going to be able to wield all of these things in an MMO? I don't think so. There's a bow Darkin. Varus is a bow Darkin. How are you going to design abilities and shit around all those different types of weapons? As opposed to just making them legendary weapons for the classes that would wield them anyway.
So let me show you some examples of the already existing Darkin weapons from Legends of Runeterra. We have the Darkin Harpoon, which imprisoned the Darkin
that's fucking
known as
Harpoon.
Ibaros. The Darkin Shield, containing the Darkin Joral.
What about a
the
shield?
Darkin Lodestone, which I assume is some kind of a trinket, which contains Horazi. The Darkin Ballista that imprisons Naganeka. Fun fact, Naganeka probably looks a bit like chicken because in theory it is...
I hate this. I hate this. He said this in the last video too. I hate that this bitch is a chicken. I hate that this bitch is a chicken.
That imprisoned Naganeka. Fun fact, Naganeka probably looks a bit like chicken because in theory it is possible that one of those chickens touched the ballista. And so Naganeka took over the body of the chicken. Then we have the Darkin Harp, which holds the really creepy...
Shield is good offensive though, just no range. Yeah, I just think let people... I think people would kill for a shield class, like Braum, and then you could wield that shield guy. I think just let people wield the Darkin weapon. There's a harp! One of the Darkin weapons is a fucking harp! How are you gonna wield a harp? You don't have to wield all of these. This is actually one of the coolest Darkins, by the way. It's from Piltover and Zon.
Body of the chicken. Then we have...
It's a harp that someone buried deep under Zon, a shield-only class. I think that'd be sick, honestly. I think it works in the lore. Could be Demacian and Freljordian shit. The lore of this harp is really fucking cool. They buried this Darkin deep beneath Zon, where they figured no human would get to it. And one of the Chitterins, which are like the monkey people that live in Zon, it wasn't deep enough. Hold on, the lore is so good. Let me look it up. Because the exact working is really cool. The Darkin Harp. Okay, let me just read this because it's so cool. As the Targonians pondered where they should scatter the Darkin weapons, one of their kind suggested the lands that would become known as Zon, buried deep within the walls of the cavernous and winding passageway, would be perfect, they assumed, far from human reach, but not from Chirians. So, these guys are these little monkey guys. I think they're or bat guys. I don't know. These little animal guys. Oh, they are bat guys. I don't know why I didn't put that together. These little bat guys from Zon that are just like Tyrion slump working. They're just like little dudes. They're just a little dude. They're just a little dude. So apparently one of them found the harp, and then Stradiu burst through the processing plant, furious and impatient. Her rage was known even before the tendrils of madness found their ways into her mind. But now she would make them all pay. First here in the land of technology, then south, where they would war alongside the general once again. Look at this. Look at this. This is so fucking cool. She's literally bursting out of a fucking, like, a chem plant. That's so awesome, dude. I want to see Jinx, Vi, and Caitlyn fight this fucking thing. Let me see that. Season 4 of Arcane, let's do it. Fight this thing. Try it. How many super mega death rockets do you think it's gonna take to kill this? How much hex tech? That'd be dope as shit, though. Sorry.
The Darkin Harp, which holds the really creepy, maddening Darkin Styradu. Of course, there is also the legendary Scythe of Rast, which is currently being held by Kayn, who is successfully resisting Rast. There is also the Darkin Bow of Varus, the Darkin Bloodletters, which belong to the one who came up with the idea of using blood magic, Zolani. And lastly, we also have the Darkin Halberd that contains Starosh. We also know that later this year, Legends of Runeterra will reveal even more Darkin. We are still waiting for more information on Aatrox, and I can't wait to learn what the heck that Darkin monstrosity is. Is that a Darkin that took over the body of a Voidborn? Because
holy shit.
But anyway, I really like the shield.
Holy shit.
Just to get it.
Holy shit. I've never seen this image. Oh my god. A Darkin Voidborn? We're done. We're done. That's it. That's it. That's it. We're done. Holy shit. Oh my god, this looks terrifying. Fuck that thing. I want to see someone fight this. Dude. Jax fighting this reminds me of like Devil May Cry 4 when Dante had to fight the Savior. That's the type of shit I want to see. I want to see Jax fucking jump from piece to piece this thing, just like ripping eyeballs apart with like, I don't know, Zillion supporting him or something. Just want to see shit.
But anyway, I really like the shield, and I will probably play a tank just to get it. Anyway, on to number 2 on this list. When talking about legendary weapons, we have to mention Nightfall. We talked about this one a little bit when we talked about the bosses and villains of this universe. Many of you may know that Mordekaiser has the ability to forge souls into just about anything. Be it bricks that would build his kingdom in his own realm, or weapons. When Mordekaiser was summoned into the realm of the living, instead of being thankful to the cultists who summoned him, he ripped out their souls and forged them into his brutal mace, which he called Nightfall. This is the giant hammer that Mordekaiser is carrying on his shoulder. And with Mordekaiser inevitably being a boss which we absolutely have to deal with at some point in the future. Really, it's all his lore is about. After we get to fight him, he has to drop Nightfall. This weapon doesn't really have any important lore, so you are not screwing anything up by giving it to the players. It is simply a badass weapon worthy of a legendary drop.
See, this is what I'm talking about, right? Why is this different than all the other weapons? Like, why is he just like, this legendary weapon everyone can drop? There is only one Nightfall. Wouldn't it just be as immersion breaking if 95 people who play this game all are equipping Nightfall because it's the best stats and they're doing it on a raid? Isn't that just as immersion breaking as having Sivir's boomerang? Like, why is that different? It's the one unique item. So if it's the one unique item, it's an MMO, everyone's gonna have it. How is that any different than what we were saying before about like legendary weapons like Sivir's blade or what's the other one he said we weren't gonna have? Yeah, just like, I don't know.
I mean, at this point, after his entire story, this weapon has the kill count of hundreds of thousands. But even that weapon is not number 1. Just as Viego is the Arthas Menethil of this universe, so his legendary blade is the Frostmourne of this universe. But I'm afraid this blade is so legendary, Riot will probably not give it to us. So let's talk about the Blade of the Ruined King. What originally started as a simple item which you would buy in the in-game shop in League of Legends, was eventually turned into the most legendary blade of the League of Legends universe. I mean, it's so legendary that you can buy it in Valorant. This blade, which used to be simply called the Blade of the King, has a name. It is called Sanctity, for when this blade appears, people of Kamavor know they are safe. It has 2 very unique abilities. Sanctity is always stored in its sanctum inside Kamavor's capital, but its wielder can instantly summon it anywhere across the world. That's what you can see Viego do in the cinematics. He is not conjuring it out of thin air, he is simply summoning it. Its second ability is what gives the blade its power, and it's what gives the blade a second name. You see, the Blade of the King is passed down between the kings of Kamavor. The current wielder is Viego, to whom it was passed down by the Lion of Kamavor himself. But every time the blade is passed to a new owner, the blade takes a piece of the would-be king's soul. Then it either kills them on the spot, or the blade deems them worthy and they are allowed to rule Kamavor. Passing this test is not easy, and the blade claimed countless kings before. That's why Sanctity also carries a second name, the Soul Render. Of course, because it is being passed down for generations, the blade is currently holding pieces of the soul.
How do I know so much about the Ruination? Oh, he read the book. Maybe this was in the book. I'm just like, how do I know so much about the Ruination and not any of this sword info? I was literally just like, how is there more Ruination shit I don't know? But literally they came out with a fucking novel and I didn't read it, so I'm assuming this is in the novel.
All the previous kings. At least, that's what we believe is the case. What we do know for sure is that when Viego died, he was stabbed by his own sword, which is the blade that contains a piece of his own soul. So because his own blade couldn't claim him, that's one of the many reasons why Viego's death caused a massive explosion of undeath. It is the blade that is responsible for creating the Shadow Isles. And it is the blade that is going to claim us once we inevitably get to fight Viego in the MMO. Of course, you know we have to face Viego, because you're not one of the people who skipped over the last video and you have all the context, right?
Is he just advertising his last video?
Riot, whether they decide whether
I'm confused. I think that was just an advertisement for his last video.
Nightfall, Sanctity is very important for the lore. The souls inside the blade could push the story forward, and in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Viego's own soul in the blade was the key to destroying him. But that's an issue for future Riots to figure out. Anyway,
Wow.
that is it for this video, and that's gonna be it for MMO videos
pretty
for
good.
a while.
I
Many
mean, I
people
feel
ask
like it was
me if
probably
I
my
feel like
least
I'm
favorite of the videos that
oversaturating
he've
the
done.
MMO videos.
But
And
like,
I'd like to say, no. So far, I am only showing people what actually exists
wait, what is he saying?
for a while. Many people ask me if I feel like I'm oversaturating the MMO videos. And I'd like to say, no. So far, I am only showing people
Oversaturating,
what
interesting.
actually exists in the universe. Nothing more, nothing less. But from this point on, if I dive into other topics, I feel like there wouldn't be enough content. And I would have to start going into heavy hypotheticals. And that's not really what I want to do. I want to show people the beauty of Riot's universe. And I want to show people that League's lore is really good. And it's been really good for about 7 years now. So, because this is going to be my last MMO video for a while, in a classic Riot style, I want to leave you with a montage. A supercut of some of the amazing places which we know exist in this universe.
What?
It is going to be nothing but official art from this universe. And should the day come, and should we see the MMO come to fruition in like 8 years, these are gonna be the places I'll go out and look for. So thank you for watching, thank you for reacting.
I think the funniest or the saddest part of this is if it comes out and it's fucking bad. Because he's just so sure, just like, Riot will make an MMO, we will fight this guy, we will fight this guy, we will guide this guy, we will not get these loot here, right? And he's just a guy, he's just basically just saying like what he thinks, but it would just be so tragic if it came out and it was just like dog shit.
I'll see you in a decade.
Oh, is he just gonna go through Legends of Runeterra art? Dude, Legends of Runeterra is carrying this fucking game, dude. Literally carrying the goddamn lore. Look at this. 90% of this is card art from Legends of Runeterra. Woo! He has the Ornn cinema login screen? Yeah, login screen. Woo! Alright. The inability of the blade takes Vio's soul, but the fact that the sword was claiming his soul, was getting healed and resurrected by the healing water infused with the rune world. And the whole process called a short circuit and destroyed everything. Oh! That's some cool writing. It makes sense to anything else. Bro, I gotta read this book, dude. I gotta read this fucking book. I don't know why it wouldn't be... Okay, I don't know why I'm so harked up on this loot thing. It's like the one thing I keep going back. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, so... What do I think? I mean, the whole thing was about loot. I mean, I feel like that's like the crux of the conversation. Yeah, so it makes sense. Pretty good video. I feel like it was the least interesting. It still was an interesting video. I feel like it was the least interesting and I had the least to say compared to the other two reaction videos that I've done. But it was well made, well researched. He knows what he's talking about. He shows all the weapons and shit. Yeah, I think we talked about like a good bit about like how legendary weapons would work with expansions. Basically it's a debate where you're on one side and the other side are like a canon legendary weapons. How should that be handled? Should everyone just be having, you know, shit and running around with it, or, you know, should they be kept specifically for the NPCs in the game, which are gonna be like the champions, right? So that was a good discussion. I'm trying to think. What else can I say about this? I'm excited for this RPG. I really love the lore. I don't know. I don't even remember what I said for the last one. Oh, can I think of anything else? Other weapons and armor that I think would be really cool? Do we still have the League Champion thing open? I don't think we do. No. I'm trying to think of like really cool weapons. Darken are a given. I mean, I don't know how they'd make Jinx's weapons even work, because like I doubt they're gonna have a minigun rocket launcher specific class. So soon it's gonna be a gunner with handguns, but who knows? Because in the world, there's handguns, there's rifles, and then there's whatever the fuck Jinx makes. Interesting, interesting. Yeah, that's cool. Pretty much went over all the badass things. Yeah, I guess that was my live reaction. I'm excited for this game. I'm gonna try it if it ever comes out. I don't think the loot thing is gonna be a make it or break it for me specifically. I don't even think I'm like that big. Like, yeah, I'd spend $5 to wear like Jinx's or Seraphine's outfit. She made crackhead weapons, yeah. I don't like, I'd probably pay money for that, but on top of that, like, I don't think it, like, I particularly care if I could read like Sivir or Poppy's hammer. Or like Caitlyn's rifle. Well, Caitlyn's rifle is, you actually probably could wield because it, oh no, I think her rifle is specific to her family. Trying to think of other legendary weapons. Or like a Darkin weapon. I feel like they have to have Darkin weapons. I don't know how they wouldn't have Darkin weapons. Yeah, I don't think that would make it or break it for me one way or another. We talked about how in the race video, how different armor set might work and like from different regions and how that might, you know, work with things. So I feel like that was already covered with just like how armor cosmetics, you know, if you start in Demacia, if you start in Noxus, this class, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like it's a similar vein with the loot. Like, it all depends, how it's gonna work out, what loot I can wear where. I assume, because loot and fashion, you know, Fashion Hunter, Final Fantasy 15, people are all about fashion. They have like straight up modern clothes in Final Fantasy 14. So, like, I assume the armor is going to be, like, a big part of what they're working on and shit like that. So I trust that Riot, small indie game company, can pull that off. They really fucked up Sion in this game. I don't know what the fuck happened. Genuinely, what happened to you, Sion? Yeah, that's pretty good. That was pretty much my reaction to the loot video. I wish I had more to say. I don't know why I don't. I feel like I should say more, but yeah, it was it. Open shut, good video. I spent an hour and a half talking about a 45-minute video. Beautiful. I'm just gonna live react to this one. I don't know what this video is, but I wanted to see it.
I have control of Cow Chateau. There's no way they're gonna take over.
He also got sponsored by Marvel Snap.
Slaughterhouse. If I play any cows there, they get butchered. I'll play
This is
cloning
Marvel
cow
Snap.
there. Even though he gets butchered, he'll clone 2 of himself there, and I'll have some protection. That should be enough, even if I lose the cow college. All right, I'll moo. By mooing, I've doubled the wager of cheddar cubes to 2. And let's see what they've played. Professor Bessie. Professor Bessie, when played in Cow College, prevents all 1 to 3 cost cows from being played there. They've double moved. Now the wager's up to 4 cheddar cubes. Should I forfeit and cut my losses? Because of Professor Bessie, the only card I can play is Captain Cow. Will it be enough? Let's find out. I raise it up to 8 cheddar cubes with ultimate utter bet! And they
So
play
dumb.
Tenure! That doubles Professor Bessie's power, and that doubles Cram School Cow's power next to it, so they win both locations! No!
What? What's wrong?
They gave Professor Bessie tenure.
What?
I lost 8 cheddar cubes in an ultimate utter bet.
Okay.
Well, that means my Galactose ranking goes down. Then I won't be as highly ranked on the Mooniverse board.
I see.
It's a big deal, okay?
Yep, I bet it is, honey.
This video is sponsored by Marvel Snap. Marvel Snap.
Lost 8
Yeah,
cheddar.
so I know that's literally how the game works. It's the three territories and you play the cards. I'm just gonna replay. I was just
What? What's wrong?
Professor Bessie tenure.
What?
I lost 8 cheddar cubes in an ultimate utter bet.
Okay.
Well, that means my Galactose ranking goes down. Then I won't be as highly ranked on the Mooniverse board.
I see.
It's a big deal, okay?
Yep, I bet it is, honey.
This video is
Okay.
sponsored by Marvel
That was good.
Snap. Marvel Snap was created
Is
by
it
Ben
out
Brode's
yet?
new
I'm guessing
company,
it's
Second
out.
Dinner as a love letter
October
for Marvel
18th.
fans.
Oh,
Snap
yeah, it's
takes
out.
place over 6 turns and features 3 random locations. Each turn, a player
Interesting.
is granted +1 energy to play cards.
Could play
Turns
that
are
today.
simultaneous, and you must
That's
overpower
hilarious, Deadpool
your
art.
opponent at 2
That's
of the
good.
3 locations to win the game. If you snap, you can instantly double the amount of cosmic cubes at stake, or try to bluff and scare your opponent away. There is no pay to win in the game. You have to play to earn cards, and card upgrades are visual. Early access on Steam and full launch on mobile are available today. Your account carries over
it's
to
not
both,
out on
so
Steam.
all progress is the same no matter the platform. Download the game using the link in
I'm
the description
kind of
below.
interested. I can't play that today because I'm playing the Plague's Tale game, but that looks pretty good. And then final thing we're gonna react to, I'm just putting this at the end of the league video. PSP throughout, yeah. I found this trailer yesterday. Oh, I can't show this on Twitch. Fuck, there's titties in it. Never mind. Damn it. I wanted to show you guys this I found this trailer of this fucking movie from 1977 that looks like balls to the fucking wall, but there's titties in it. Fuck me. All right, I'm just going to copy this and send it into the chat. Okay, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. That was me doing my reaction to NetCrit's new video, and I just did like a little bonus stuff at the end. Yeah, let me know if you like this react content. I hope I feel like let me know how you liked it. Super excited for the MMO if it ever comes out, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Leave any comments down below, and yeah, let me know what you guys think about the thing I said at the end, or basically like your idea of the cosmetic or the legendary weapons, if everyone should have them, if no one should have them, if it's like, you know, blah 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 blah. And yeah, have a good one. Bye bye.